start again. Thank you very much for joining us. And we have some questions that we'd like to ask you and have you share your answers with all the officials out there that are interested in either pursuing officiating in the female game specifically, but in the game as a whole, or anybody that's interested in officiating. Some of your insight might be important to them to see if they want to get started. So the first question I would have for you is, where did you play your minor hockey, sort of background of your playing history even before we get into the officiating?
I grew up playing hockey in Invermere. I played for the male and female midget teams there. And then after high school, went on to be affiliated with the Mount Royal Cougars. And then after I turned there, sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And then after my college stint, I went back to playing in Invermere, just playing in a men's league there.
Excellent. No, so that's good. It's good to hear about playing history and that type of thing, and that sort of moves me right into the next question, which is what got you interested in officiating, or where did you get your start in the officiating side of the game?
So officiating, I really wasn't into right off the bat. I tried coaching after I was done playing and wasn't really into the coaching part. I wanted to be more a part of the game. I wanted to be at ice level with the players. So I was actually signed up for the ref course by our ref-in-chief at the time, who then was my first mentor. And I was pretty scared at first and refused to do any kind of high-level hockey. I was just going to keep it really simple and do little stuff. But the more experience I got, the more I fell in love with that part of the game and just kind of grew from there.
No, that's great. Now that you are so involved in officiating and you have a lot of experience behind you, what would you say is the most exciting part of your job as an official on the ice?
When you're on the ice, the most exciting part is just being a part of that team, and then anytime that you have a high-intensity game with certain situations in there that gets your blood pumping just like it was when you were playing, it's a very exciting thing. Also, on the other end of it, there's so many opportunities to go to different tournaments, different events like I am right now, and that's pretty exciting on its own.
No, it's great. Now, when it comes to the actual job on the ice, what do you find is the most challenging thing that that comes across you on a regular basis as an official?
I think the most challenging part would be that you want to see the game played out well, and there's not a lot of times where we can control how teams are going to come out and play. So we try to do our best to keep it balanced between enjoying the game but also keeping it a safe environment for the team. So that becomes challenging at times.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It's an interesting balance we have to create on the ice in our job where we're not also trying to be too involved in the game. You mentioned it gives you the opportunities to go to different events and tournaments. Thus far, what are some of your career highlights as an official?
Definitely this tournament for reffing for me is my biggest highlight, as it's the top tournament that I've done as a ref. Lining, I've done the SO Cup, I've done the U18 Cup as well. I also started lining in the BCHL league this year, so that was a big step for me. I also reffed in the Junior Women's Hockey League. I did the playoffs there. So those are a few of the big tournaments that I've got to do so far.
Yeah, and I'd actually like to even emphasize some of those highlights there that you just mentioned. You mentioned reffing for the upcoming Canada Winter Games at the beginning there. That's a significant assignment, so congratulations for that. And your role there as a referee, which is a bit of a move in a new direction at an elite level for you. And the other ones you mentioned, the SO Cup, where we had a lot of officials from our province participate in that a couple of years ago, and your debut in the BCHL, the first female official in our province to to officiate at that level. So that was a big move, not only for yourself, but just overall within the female program and in the general officiating aspect of the game. It was congratulations to that, and it's a very big accomplishment and a clear highlight. For the next question, what would you do? What is it that you do off the ice to prepare for games mentally, physically for the game? Being that you are officiating at so many different levels and in so many different environments?
Well, like you said, I'm doing a lot of different levels and different leagues. So mentally preparing, there's a lot of things that I have to go over the day of a game. So I'm going over the rules of that game. I'm going over the rosters of the teams that I'm going to be seeing that night and preparing myself for who I need to protect on the ice, who I have to watch because I'm going to have to get in there quick off of a whistle because they're going to try pushing and shoving people as soon as the whistle goes. Goes there. But I also find that I do a lot of visualization. So I do visualizing in the morning. I do a workout once I get out to the rink. I'll go and do my warm-up that I do every day. Or not every day, sorry, every game. And aside from that, it's just being mentally prepared through any way that I can. I don't know.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that's excellent. It's an interesting balance between the physical and the mental aspect of the game where as a player, you're focused a lot more on the physical on a regular basis, and even as a coach, you're focused a lot more on the mental side of it to keep those players engaged and focused and with objectives to do. But for the official, you have to really balance the two. So that's a good insight. When it comes to specific tools within the game, whether it be physical or mental, what do you think is the most important one that you've utilized to become successful in the game?
The biggest one that I've learned along the years is just communication. So the communication that you carry with coaches, with players, with the rest of your team can make or break you. It can change a game in so many ways and so many levels that taking a high-intensity situation and approaching it in the right way can get you a lot farther and keep the game at a medium level. So whether it be having a conversation with somebody at a certain time or waiting to have that conversation, it's kind of a situational awareness when to have communication with certain people as well as not.
Yeah, that's as big a skill as anything as skating, doing your signals position. Communication is one you have to learn, and you do it through experience, and it's a great asset to have on the ice. It makes you successful. So away from hockey, what other hobbies do you have that keep you busy?
Well, in the winter, it's a little bit touch and go because I work full time, but I also play hockey as well as ref hockey. So Monday to Friday, I'm working. Nights, I'm playing hockey. Weekends, I ref hockey. So other than that, I walk my dogs when I can, and I watch a lot of movies in the winter because it's cold. But in the summer, I do a lot of playing softball. I still like to play in soccer. I go for hikes with my dogs. I rollerblade. I run. And I like to camp as well. So that's what I do in the summer, a lot more of my own time.
No, that's going to keep you busy for sure. You mentioned you work full-time as well. A little insight to what you do professionally.
So I work for Western Financial Group, and I'm a client care associate for them. So I sell insurance from travel insurance, car insurance. We also have our driver licensing center there. So I'm constantly changing over out-of-province people to come to BC and be a part of our world.
So it's interesting that communication is a tool that you found that helps you on the ice. You obviously transfer that over into your professional world as well. So it shows right there how your skills in one thing will help you in another. When it comes to, you mentioned that you played and coached and eventually got into the officiating sort of as an alternate. For young officials out there, now that you've gone through some of the ranks, what advice would you give to them?
The biggest thing I think would be to get out and get experience because that's the only way you're going to learn. If it's something that you're passionate about, reach out and let people know so they can come and they can help you. Not only do you need to get experience yourself, but just watching other officials, asking them questions. If you have any questions with them, we're always open to answer questions from others. So just get as much experience as you can, whether you're on the ice or watching other officials.
No, that's very good. You always can learn from those around you. What are some of the major differences going back and forth between the male and female game, being that you said, you do quite a bit of crossover there?
they're two completely different games, I find. I find the male game is very physically demanding, and there's a lot different things that you're looking for as an official to react to. And in the female game, it's such a fast finesse game. So the difference with me is I've done up to the junior A level with male, and I actually had the opportunity to do a Team Canada exhibition game this past year, and the speed of those women was just incredible. It was like a sprint for 30 seconds, and then they were shooting off the bench, and someone else was coming out and sprinting and shooting off the bench. And it was pretty amazing to see how talented those females were. But
So,
on the male,
sorry, go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, again, on the male side, it's a very it's a technical game in its own way as well, because not only do the players have to worry about their plays and getting the puck in the net, but they're also worrying about getting hit. They're also worrying about where these other players are coming from. So it's, like I said, two different games.
Oh, and that sort of jumps me actually to the question I was excited to ask about next, was the transition to the male game, and particularly your first experience in your games at the BCHL level, and what might have been the most memorable elements of that experience.
You know, I was so excited getting there and just to be in that rink and know that I was going to do my first junior A game, that it didn't really hit me until the anthem came on that I was actually on the ice and the first female to work that league. To me, it was just an accomplishment for myself as an official to get that far. But it was a pretty amazing feeling being on the ice at that level, and I was kind of in there and not really sure what to expect, as I'd never even watched a junior A game prior to being on the ice for that game. So when the game started and it progressed, and it took me a while to get a hold of it, but it was a lot of fun, and I've continued to work that league and have a lot of fun doing it.
So what is it like you looking forward to the Canada Winter Games, and what is it like being selected for that, particularly moving into the role of a referee, where at the BCHL level and at your previous levels at the SO and everything, you've been primarily working the lines. Describe what it's going to be like changing into the role of a referee at a bigger event like that.
I'm very excited. It's a pleasure to be not only be doing that tournament, but to be reffing at that level. I am so excited, but oh, sorry. My phone's just about going to die here. Hold on. I'm going to have to pause for a sec.
Okay.
Everything looks really good on this end, the recording of it.
Okay, excellent. That's good to hear.
It's different. I've got the big screen and then the two little ones. So but I'm recording all of it. So it's not just the big screen, because there's the delay of the sound when it switches back and forth between the two of you.
Oh, okay.
But it looks really good with the two little pictures down below.
Oh, excellent. That's good to hear. I mean, we'll sort of, I only really have two more questions left, but do I need to sort of leave a little bit of space or lag, do you think, between her answer and my question, or vice versa, my question and then her answer, or do you think we're okay?
You know what? I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. If you don't mind, I'm gonna jump back to the start of that one. Just to do that one again. But so the question here, basically, just wondering if you could describe what it's like to be selected as a referee now for the Canada Winter Games, which is a change in the role that you've been primarily working when we were talking about the BCHL, your SO women's experience and that type of thing, moving to the role of a referee from a linesman.
I'm very excited to be able to have this chance to work that level of hockey, it is a very exciting moment for me in my career. As like you said, I have been linesing at all of these major tournaments I've been going to previously, and the leagues that I'm in right now, I'm still lining. So I'm very excited. I actually am pretty ecstatic to be in Prince George and be able to do this tournament too, because I'm not only in my home province, but I get to do it in front of family and friends. So that is pretty rewarding in itself.
No, that's excellent. Just a couple more questions for you. Being that we've sort of listed a row of accomplishments here, going into the future, what are some of your goals in officiating?
In the short term being the next couple of years, I would like to get into the international side for the female hockey. And I would like to make it to the Cyclone Taylor, the Keystone Cup for the male side. Long term, like my end goals for this are to one day make it to those Olympics and be able to skate the Olympic Games. But on the male side, I would eventually like to get to the WHL side. But that's going to take some work still. I got a long ways to go.
Oh, great goals, and obviously on the right path to make those happen, being a pioneer for the female game in our province at the male side of it, and progressing very well on the female side on all those opportunities there. The last one would be, the last question for you here. You mentioned sort of at the beginning here that you had a mentor that you went to when you started officiating, and I was just wondering if there's anybody that you'd like to recognize or thank for their contribution to your career thus far as an official that have maybe helped you along the way and helped you get to where you have got already.
There's a few people that have actually played a part in that. The people from Invermere, the senior officials there, definitely played a part in my first couple years when I was getting in the reins of everything, so they steered me in the right direction. Other than that, though, my first female mentor was Jamie Lee Scriber, who's now Jamie Tatry. She was my first female mentor, and to this day, anytime I get a special assignment or have something I need to talk to her about, that's the first person that I'm talking to. Other than that, the guys that I do junior B with here on the east side of the Kootenays have helped me along the way and continuously give me support and advice on my game, so they've helped me. And then lastly, my family, because they are the ones that support me at all times and allow me to go to these tournaments by taking care of my dogs and stuff when I'm gone. So they all play a part in what I've now become.
All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate your time, and we wish you good luck at the Canada Winter Games later on in the new year, and to the rest of your season, good luck there as well. And yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time talking to us about this today.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, we'll talk to you later. All right, I think we're good. I've